Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport. And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love. We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be. So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Kirsten. Hi, Grinch.
I love your outfit.
I love yours. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody listening, however you like to celebrate your holidays. Today is December 25th, which for a lot of people is Christmas, or again, whatever you guys like to celebrate. We're here to celebrate. I'm very Grinch-missy.
I love it. It's cute.
I love it too. So what is your wellness win this week?
Looks like pajamas, warm.
These do. It's so hot. They're shorts. They're really cute. Like boop, boop, boop shorts. If you're watching the video, I've been pretty much wearing it every day for the last week.
Yeah. So wellness
coaching in this.
Yeah, that's great.
In this hot swimming pool area.
Mm-hmm.
Torturous.
But you know what? That would have been fine if running 50 miles. I would have been warm. That would have been perfect for me.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, I wore the dress.
I know. Hey, let's see the dress. Can you stand up? So cute. So cute. All right. Wellness win.
Wellness win was we did our 13th annual 100 swim.
Woo, woo.
Was that our 13th? I should have looked up, but I believe it.
I think I feel like our first year was 2010.
Okay, I was thinking 2012.
I think it was 2010. I'll double check, but I'm 99% sure it was 2010.
So our 15th annual 100 completion. I'm not quite at 130 pace like I used to be, but that doesn't matter. I still got it done. So that's a proud moment that we keep that streak going. And again, another just wellness win is it's just been a relaxing time.
Yeah.
This time of year is really relaxing for me. And it's just, catching up on just relaxing and recovery and sleep and hanging out with the family and all that fun stuff.
Yes. Well, my wellness win is I did not overeat. Well, okay, let me back up. I didn't overeat to the point where I felt like I got mad at myself.
That's awesome. That's a huge wellness win.
I know, that's huge. So, and part of it is like candy. I haven't eaten candy. I didn't eat any Halloween candy. I didn't eat any pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. For some reason, sweets have not appealed to me. I do drink a lot of like electrolyte drink and my pre-workout and my shake every day. And those are all sweet tasting. Mm-hmm. And I do drink my Xavia. But I don't know if it's because I got out of the habit. I don't crave like sugary dessert sweets. And
well, when you don't eat them, you don't crave them. When you eat them, you crave them. Yeah. That's and like so scientific studies.
Like I've been eating tons of like popcorn and chips and stuff, but those don't make me feel crappy the way like a pint of ice cream or a whole pie does. So
right.
I know. So that's huge for me to get through the holidays without like beating myself up for eating a bunch of crap.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's amazing. It feels so much better.
I love it.
I'm
so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You've really changed in that aspect of your life.
Oh my gosh, so much, right? I know Wendy's known me over the years. So today we're going to keep it pretty short because we want you guys out enjoying the holidays with your family or by yourself, going on a hike or doing whatever you do for your holidays. But we wanted to talk about our word of the year because New Year's is coming up really quickly. And for New Year's, a lot of people are focused on resolutions and kind of like what's happening for the new year. So I like to spend this week kind of reflecting on the past year to see what I want my goals for the next year to be. And one of the things that I've been doing for maybe 15 years is a word of the year. And Wendy and I had a whole episode. It was one of our first episodes on our word for this year. So Wendy, do you remember what yours was?
Mine was possibility.
Awesome. And how has that shown up?
And a lot of the reason was, it's been 2.5 years since I broke my patella. And so in 2024, I didn't know what was possible.
Right.
But in 2025, I did. And so that was my word of the year, was possibility. And it usually has to do with my sport, but it also had to do with my business, because my business started going out of business when I was in my recovery from a broken patella. I don't know if it was coincidental, that just the state of life I was in, but my coaching business was going out of business, and I was in the worst fitness of my life. And so I entered 2025 with the word possibilities. And it's happened from my athletic standpoint and my business standpoint, is I'm doing so much better. I'm kind of back to where I was a few years ago.
Awesome. That is amazing. I'm so happy to hear that.
And from a sport perspective, I am coming back stronger than I was in 2022 before I broke my knee.
Yeah. And that's huge, because so many people don't believe that that's possible as we get older. And I mean, Wendy's talking about even like from where she was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, when she said to herself, I'm in the best shape of my life.
Right. I always finish every race knowing I could do better. And when my kids say that, my kids that I coach for swimming say I could have done better, I ask them, well, why didn't you? And I asked myself that this year, is, if you think you could do better, why didn't you? And I always know why. So then I learn from it, and it gets me excited to attempt that race distance or race pace or race whatever again, because I can do better. I always know I can do better.
Right.
Physically or mentally, whatever it means to me to do better, it's personal.
Yeah, exactly. And it's different every time. It could be a faster time. It could be less stomach issues by the end of the race. It could be being less sore the next day. It could be having a better mental attitude no matter what time you came in.
Mm-hmm.
And these are great things, because we coach athletes. So I feel like since we are still competitive athletes, we can relate to our athletes a little bit better. And I know you've heard this before, but you hear this all the time in youth coaching. They say those who can't coach, basically meaning like swim coaches they don't still swim. And when I look at other people I've coached with over the years, like the summer league that I'm in, no other swim coach swims. All the other coaches, maybe they swam in college, or maybe they swam when they were younger. But our swim team, my assistants, Kat, Ashley, and me, we all are still swimmers. We're all active athletes. Kat and I are going to do a swim meet next year. Like, we're all still swimmers. And so I think we could be better coaches because we are still athletes.
I do too. We're still experiencing what the athletes we coach are experiencing. So we're very relatable.
Yes, 100%. And we've talked about this before. We're both, quote, aging. We're aging athletes. So, and many of our athletes we coach are aging athletes. And so they can relate to us in a way that, and Wendy's going to be so inspirational to so many people who are like, oh, I'm getting older. I can never be faster. And I feel like, I remember in 2017, before I had my daughter, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the best shape of my life. I was winning everything. That's when I went to Kona for that second time. I thought I was in the best shape of my life. And now when I look at myself, like, I'm in a different type of shape in my life, but I feel like I'm a lot more balanced, a lot stronger. I just feel like a lot healthier and happier than I was. And so it's getting older is sometimes really amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So with that word of the year, possibilities, do you have any idea what your word this year is going to be? Or do you have one yet?
I do. It's 3 words, and it has to do with something I've been saying a lot lately with athletes I coach, is do simple better.
Oh,
I may change my mind, because I changed my mind last year, because I'm not someone that's had a word of the year for 15 years, consecutive years like you have. But like, what that, simplicity, of course, simplicity is always what I strive for, but just do simple better, do the little things better. If you can't walk for 5 minutes, get better at walking for 5 minutes before you jump to 10 minutes. If you can't run a mile, get better at running a mile before you increase running more than 1 mile. If, it applies, if you can't do something in your job that's a necessity of your job, get better at doing that before you move on to more advanced tasks. I think this day and age, people want to keep advancing, and they never nail the basics.
Right.
The basics of sleep, nutrition, before the recovery boots. You got to work on your sleep and nutrition before those extra recovery tools are going to help you. So just really do simple better.
Yeah. And that applies. I talked to this lady. She's a good friend of mine and she's in marketing, and we talk once a month. We've been talking for like 20 years. We used to talk about sales and marketing because I was in sales a lot. And I helped her with some selling tips and she would help me with marketing tips. But now we still talk once a month for about 2 hours, and we just kind of help each other just in life in general. But one thing that I was telling her that I've improved on a lot, which reminds me of the simplicity thing, is I always get myself into spending too much money. I'm just like naturally a spender, and I have to be really disciplined to not spend money I don't have. And so in the past, my goal would be like, okay, in 2026, I'm going to get out of debt. And then it's an all or nothing thing. And so all next year, I'm basically like buying nothing, doing nothing, black and white. I'm either spending money or I'm not spending money. And it works for a while, but then it's kind of like the people who starve themselves. Eventually you're going to eat, and you're probably going to eat too much. And so I feel like I've been in that cycle for my whole life. It's either if I try to restrict my spending, I pay off all my bills. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to buy this, and this, because I haven't had it for a year, and this and this. So what I'm doing, it's kind of like what you said, like mastering the basics. I take like something I really don't need to spend money on. Or I'll be like, okay, I can go out to eat twice a week instead of 4 times a week. And so I'm not like, you can't go out to eat ever. But it's not ordering out 6 days a week.
Right.
And so instead of being so black and white, I'm working on in my spending habits, shades of gray, and seeing how that works for me this year. But that reminded me, because you said like people in our society, we want more without ever like mastering that basics of simplicity.
Yeah. Do what's simple better.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I heard that somewhere. I can't remember who I originally heard it, but it really resonated with me as an athlete and a coach and as a person. Yeah. Just do the simple things better.
I like that. And you guys listening, the word of the year thing, we kind of should have prefaced this in case you've never heard of doing a word of the year. But I started doing it about 15 years ago with a group, like a personal development group that I had. We chatted on Zoom or on the phone once a week. We would read personal growth books. It was a book club, basically. We'd read a book and then we would talk about it. And I don't remember who suggested it, but someone was talking about a word of the year. And basically it's a word that you want to have in the forefront of your mind when you're going through your life in the next year. And it's there to remind you of what you want. So it's there to remind you to, like Wendy said, hers was possibilities. So it shows up in all areas of your life. So she's like, oh, it showed up in my business. And it's just something that you want for yourself, or a general intention. That's how I use it. And that's how I've used it over the past 15 years. So you can set your own parameters. My friend that I just talked to last week, the marketing lady, her word of the year is like 6 words. She's a rebel like you, Wendy. You're like, my word of the year is 3 words. So you guys decide if you want it to be a phrase of the year, if you want it to be a sentence of the year, a paragraph of the year. So this past year, mine was alignment. And I chose alignment just because I want to make sure that all the areas of my life are aligning with who I am as a human and who I want to be and how I want my life to be. So for me, when I think about if I'm offered offered something like to teach a class or any like experience or opportunity, and I check, is this in alignment with who I am and who I want to be and where I want to go in my life? If it's not, I'm not going to do it. So for example, I had somebody just ask me the other day if I could sub her cycling class next Monday night. And normally if I can sub cycling, I will sub it in a heartbeat because I want to bike anyway. So to get paid to bike is like 100% in alignment with who I am. But it was on a Monday night. And on a Monday nights, my daughter does jujitsu, and then we come home and chill. And at first I said, oh yeah, let me see if if my mom or her dad can pick her up from jujitsu and I'll let you know. But then I thought about it and I'm like, no, I love watching Cora do jujitsu. And I love going home right after. We usually order takeout. We sit at our table, we eat food. She goes and plays with her friend for an hour. I do the dishes and laundry and get ready for the next day. And I love that. And it's exactly what I want to be doing with my time. So I texted her back and I said, actually, I'm going to decline, but thank you. So that just is an example of what alignment meant to me. And it was really, it's not always at the forefront of my mind throughout the year, but I can recognize when I'm like, oh, that's why I wanted that word to be my word.
Yeah, I love that example.
So my word this year is allow. And I'm not 100% sure what it means for me yet, but I've just, over the past few months, I've heard that word a lot and it feels really calming. Mm-hmm. So it's more like allowing things into my life that I'm not necessarily like working for or intentionally going for, just being more open and allowing things to happen as they happen.
Love it. That's fantastic.
And it makes me kind of nervous, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So peace of mind.
I like that. That's a good one.
Thank you. So we would love to hear your guys' word of the year. And if you don't have one, maybe think about, hey, do I want a theme? It could be a theme for your year. Mm-hmm. It could be, you can think of it in like one specific area and then see throughout the year how it applies to all the areas. But if you have a word, we want to hear about it. Comment your word of the year. Last year, I think that was the podcast we had the most comments on. I think a couple people commented their word of the year.
Nice.
So we want to hear what your word of the year is. One thing I do throughout the year, just because I've been doing the word of the year for so long, if a word appeals to me in any area of my life or for whatever reason, I write it down. And then when it comes to like October, November, mm-hmm. I look up the meaning of the word and look to see how the word is used. So I might look in the dictionary.com or thesaurus.com and look to see how the word is used. And maybe sometimes I'll look like images, like I'll search Google images of allowing and see what resonates with me with all the words I've chosen. And a lot of times that's how I choose if I have like a few I'm deciding between. I try them on for size. So the other thing that Wendy and I did last year, and we're going to do it again right now, is we chose a word for our podcast. And our word for our podcast this year was delight. And I 100% think of this word all the time when we do our podcast. And we talked about this last week. This podcast brings me joy. And joy to me is the same as delight. It makes me smile. It makes me kind of giddy. I'm excited to do it. So very much true to the word delight. So are you ready to pick a word for this year? I have to take off my Grinch gloves. All right. So I'm picking from the angel cards because there's like 50 different words. I know. If any of you guys want me to pick you a word, let me know. We can go on Zoom and I'll pick you a word. So what I do is I got to take off my Grinch gloves. I'm so hot. If you guys aren't watching this, Wendy and I are both wearing she's wearing a sweater dress and a winter hat. And I'm wearing a full Grinch onesie. And we're both well, she's not hot. She's at the gym. I'm in my house. I'm hot. All right. So I'm fingering through all the words and I'm thinking, what word do we want for our podcast in 2026? And here it is. I found it in my hand and the word is beauty. Interesting.
Okay. So I'm gonna do what you suggested. I'm gonna look up that word.
Yes.
And I'm gonna see what it comes up with. Okay. I'm gonna chat GPT the word beauty and tell it that that's our word of the year for our podcast and see what happens. And I'll give you the results in the next podcast.
Yes. And I will do it as well because my chat GPT knows a lot about our podcast.
So yeah. So it'll be interesting for us to share the results of what ChatGPT says about our word of the year.
So tune in next week. We are going to talk about some New Year's resolutions because next year is January 1st. And B, we're going to talk about our word of the year for our podcast, which is beauty. I'm excited to see what it says. Thank you for that.
Yeah, me too.
So what are you most excited about coming up?
The last week of the year. Again, I say this the last couple podcasts, my schedule is so much more flexible the last 2 weeks of every year. And so just kind of continue. I tend to have a little more time because my coaching schedule is a little bit different. I'm up to date with all the online athletes that I coach with their schedules. And so Don and I will watch more movies and more shows together. We have some Christmas stuff that we like to watch. And then I tend to do a little more kind of cleaning and organizing in my home. So I could start off the new year with a little more household organization than I've been doing. It's just kind of stuff like that. Nothing, nothing huge, nothing big. Just, I think, again, stress management, having a little end of the year stress-free life.
Right. I am also excited about the new year because I love a new year. I love a new month. I love a new week. I love a new everything. I always have a lot of hope going into the new year. And it's interesting because I forgot this is actually what I was going to say for my wellness win, but then something else just happened 10 minutes before we jumped on. I went to Casa Bonita for our holiday party for the swim school I work at. We went to Casa Bonita and they have a wishing well. And the guy, he hands out these little token things and he's like, okay, everybody make a wish. And then you throw it into the wishing well. And I was holding my token and I could not think of a single thing that I don't have right now that I would want in my life. What a wellness win that is.
What a huge wellness win. And my wish is always to have more wishes. We talked about this, I think, on an episode. My wish whenever I get these wishes is to always have more wishes.
I didn't even have anything I wanted to wish for because everything is going really well.
That's fantastic.
I know.
I'm so happy for you. It makes me so happy. When I was
a kid, we talked about the wishes thing. And when I was a kid, I always wished for happiness.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, every wishing star, shooting star, throw a penny in the well, I always wished for happiness. And I feel like for the first time in my life, I really do feel happy. And I feel like things are easier for me and coming together and I'm letting things go. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or if whatever, I'm not doubting anything. I'm just taking it. Take it as it is. Mm-hmm. So you guys have super happy holidays and we will see you next year.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
All right. See you guys next year.
Bye. Make it a great day. Make it a great end of the 2025.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes. We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review. And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day.